speaking to Larry Booi, who is the chair of Public Interest Alberta. Tell me, please, a bit how the organization came together in the first place, Larry.
It came out of, more than anything else, a desire to overcome fragmentation. This divide and conquer idea that if you want to make it hard for people, you make sure they never get together. And so one of the trends that we'd seen over the couple of decades of neoliberalism, or whatever other word you want to put on it, was a very deliberate kind of fragmentation. If you reduce people to individuals, then they don't get together, and then it's easier to pick them off. And the same thing with organizations. If organizations don't get together, then powerful groups, elites in societies, find it more easy to deal with them, because you undermine them one at a time. So it's kind of a counter-cyclical idea that if fragmentation and separation and individualization are what's getting in the way, then maybe we need to do the opposite, which is bringing people together. And I'd read an article by Naomi Klein in the New Left Review in 2000 that said, in order to reclaim the commons, we've got to start getting organizations of organizations. So in Alberta, we had strong teacher organization, nurses, public sector unions, other community groups, great many groups who cared about the public interest, the public good, public institutions, but they weren't working together. So what we decided to do was develop an advocacy organization focused entirely on advocacy, not a charitable organization, nothing like that. Straight ahead advocacy to bring together organizations that, as I say, wanted to promote the public interest. So that's how it was born.
Did you have difficulties bringing together groups that didn't share the same agendas?
I would call it a difficult birth, but not a traumatic one, in the sense that if you're not used to working together and you're trying to convince people that it might be to their advantage to work together in more systematic ways and to put some resources behind it, right? Now, that's the critical thing. You need some resources in order to sustain these kinds of organizations. You know what happened was the old idea that if they see it as in their interests, they'll do it. And ultimately, enough organizations saw that it was in their interest to get together like this, that they decided to give it a try. And so 5 years later, I think they're pleased. And we have these sorts of conferences and a really broad base of advocacy, precisely because teachers, nurses, social workers, students, the Federation of Labor are seeing this as a vehicle where they might be able to achieve some of their goals.
And now it's quite a moment in history. There's an economic crisis, there's environmental crises, food crises. I could go on and on. How does PIA deal with this moment? I guess that's what this conference is about.
Yeah, it is very much. The conference theme is Beyond Bandaids and Bailouts, Public Solutions in Critical Times. And the Chief of Staff to American President Obama said, you should never let a good crisis go to waste. And I think that's exactly what's going on. There is a crisis, and you need to make use of that to move forward an agenda that has to do with supporting the public interest and public services and the public good. You know, what went on for a long time was an approach that basically said, leave everything to the market. And it was based on simplistic mantras like government bad, private good, public bad, market good, simplistic kinds of things. And one of the things that this crisis has done is it's I think, really showed how bankrupt that unbalanced idea was. And by the way, I'm a kind of a fan of markets in some areas, right? But what happened was it was a sort of a market fundamentalism that said, leave everything to the market. And they would have been happy, these people, with no government, as long as there was some sort of structure that helped them to make big profits. And I'm not casting them as evil. They were just acting in their own interest. I think it's a terrific opportunity right now to rethink what we want from our government, and that's what we're trying to do in this conference. What would public solutions look like? If you care about the public good and public services, and if things like public education and public health really are the things that help to make our lives richer, what do we need to do to make sure that those things are more effectively supported? And by the way, it's not just about supporting or hanging on to an inadequate status quo. I think Judy Rebick was very good on that. She said, you know, you need a better situation. You need more support for seniors. We need better support for young mothers with kids and families who are struggling. We need to deal with a poverty situation that is robbing us of the potential of a whole lot of people down the line. So it's not just about defending an inadequate situation and trying to hang on to things. It's trying to move forward to a society where there's a much better balance between public and private interests, and I think we'll all benefit from that.
Congratulations on your work, Larry Booi, with the organization, and good luck with the crises and challenges ahead.
Yeah, I think it's important work, and I'm delighted to be playing a little role with so many people who actually care about these things. And what will carry them, I think, is not just their concern, but their organizing. You know, our theme is, it's an old Labor theme, don't agonize, organize.